Welcome back. Welcome back once again. This is Rod Powell, and you are now joining the You Should Get a License podcast edition. Today, very excited about the guest that we have joining us. She is a leader in the industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. She is a principal. She runs a full service employee benefits firm. She is also the president of the local chapter for the National Association of Health Underwriters throughout the state of Virginia as well. And just not only a big voice, in the community, but someone who really cares and someone who is always a great support system for, newer agents who are coming into the business, as well as existing professionals as well. So very excited to have her on the platform. I want to say welcome to Karen Hudgins with New Hope Benefits. Karen, welcome to the You Should Get a License podcast platform. Welcome.
Thank you, Rod. I appreciate you asking me. Thank you.
Yes. Look, I know this is a super busy time in employee benefits right now because we are entering the fourth quarter of the year where there are tons of open enrollments that are happening. So for her to be able to take some time, it really, really means a lot. And we're very, very appreciative for her to share about that space. Speaking of, employee benefits fourth quarter, this platform is to talk about the many different market segmentations that we have in our industry. And if you could share a little bit, Karen, about what your specialty is, what you focus on a day-to-day basis, and the area of insurance that you specifically operate in.
Okay. That's a lot of questions. So I will admit, everyone, this is my very first time ever doing something like this. And I feel like my logo with these, I feel like I've got this sunbeam halo going on over my head. So, just ignore that. It's going to probably drive me crazy. But what do I do on a day-to-day basis? Well, it's probably going to go back to one of your questions. The things that I love about what I do is that no day is ever the same. It is not a mundane, come in and every day is going to go exactly the same way. I founded New Hope Benefits back in 2016. I'm sure we'll talk more about that. But we are a full service brokerage catering to small to mid-sized businesses and helping them develop employee benefit strategies. And our promise is that we will make it simple and affordable and respond to our clients quickly. It's kind of our claim to fame, or at least that's what our Google reviews seem to indicate. So basically my role is I kind of do a little bit of everything. Managing the strategy, the overall strategy, implementing the strategy, going over, new account renewals, and just kind of keeping up on things. And we run 1 million miles a minute every day, especially right now. We're busy.
Right.
Right up until the minute you called, I'm like, fire. So,
yes.
So we do all things group health, mental, vision, life, disability. We have a whole voluntary benefits division where we focus on helping to bridge in the gap. So we know that medical doesn't pay for everything. And so we want to equip our workforce and the American worker with as many financial protections as they can get their hands on to ensure that, what their medical isn't paying for, loss of work, lost time, hospital bills, that they have access to those financial protections to be able to help them out so that they're not going bankrupt. So.
Absolutely. Karen, I'm really, fascinated with this space, with the employee benefit space. As you know, this is the area that I work in as well. And, it's a segment where, when people think of insurance, they don't often think about, employees or work site. They think individual one-on-one conversations. I'm going to become a life insurance agent. I'm going to talk to someone at their kitchen table and, have dinner for 2-3 hours. When dealing in employee benefits, what do you find is I guess the biggest difference from marketing work site versus going individual to person?
Well, that's a great question, and it's one that comes up often whenever we are looking to bring on new agents. I think, we believe in working smart, not hard, right? Or we work hard, but, we want to work smart. And they make fun of me because I guess it's work smarter, not harder, or work hard. I don't know what the whole thing is, but they make fun of me whenever I say it. So anyhow, um, you know, it's kind of like, when you're in the business and let's just say you're marketing to individuals. Well, you've got to go find how many individuals in order, like everything is based on numbers and sales, right? And so how many individuals do you need to meet with in order to get one life insurance policy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you beat the pavement, every day trying to find, whatever your close ratio is. Let's just say it's 1 in 4, right? So you've got to meet 4 people in order to get one policy. And so the same goes with, I guess on the flip side of that, when you're working in the group side, you may go meet with 4 business owners. And if one business owner says yes, and that business has 20 employees, well, that's what I mean by working smart, right? So wouldn't you rather meet with a decision maker that can introduce you to 20 people versus beating the pavement and trying to find 20 people, right? So, that's what I mean, we do individual on kind of referral basis, and people find us, and I don't turn it away simply because I want people to I want to make sure that people are getting correct information. There's a lot of stuff out there, and not everything is completely legit. But I just figure, I would rather meet with 4 business owners with 20 employees each than trying to go and find 20 individuals that might need where maybe one needs a life insurance policy.
Hey, it makes sense. So, it really does encompass that work smarter, not harder philosophy, right? Because, you go to that and you don't have to take your gas and go from place to place to place to place. You can be at that one work site location, and you can see all 20 of those people at one time. No, it's a great model.
Especially now, gas is too expensive. You don't be running around all over town trying to find 20 individuals. Right. When you can go to one business that has 20 employees, right?
That's right. So I want to get more into that. I want to talk more about, your agency, how that developed, how you really, joined the industry. But I want to take a moment and go all the way back. I'm calling this, my memory moment, because I always ask this question, but I didn't have a name for it. It's going to be called the memory moment. So the memory moment is, I want you to take me back 9 years old, Karen Hudgins. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Ooh, 9 years old. So when I was 9 years old, I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I actually had an opportunity to be able to go spend a day in a veterinarian's office and just kind of, observe. And it's kind of a gross story, but in the end, in the middle of the day, right, on this particular day, they close, to all new patients, and they do surgeries. And so on this day, they were doing just plain old dental surgery, and they had to, obviously do anesthesia for the dog. And so the dog was out. I mean, the dog was fine. But and this is what I remember. Granted, I was 9 years old, but what I remember is that when you put like an animal, like not to sleep, but like just to sleepy land, right? Their tongue will come out like a foot long. And it was like, they were able to like just pull the dog's tongue to go and clean the teeth. And I was like, I still remember just how disgusting it was. And they ordered lunch, and I remember they had alfalfa sprouts on the tuna sandwiches, and I thought that was disgusting. And so like now I'm like completely like triggered by alfalfa. I cannot eat alfalfa sprouts. So like I attribute that to like dog tongue hanging out. And I was just so sick to my stomach the rest of the day. I couldn't make it. I was like, nope, I'm not going to be a veterinarian. And I just quickly lost sight of that. Nothing to do with needles. Have huge a fear of needles. Can't watch them on TV, nothing. So that was the end of the veterinarian streak. And so if we were to kind of fast forward into my whole story, I did grow up in New England, and I'm very sad for my Red Sox, but when the leaves turn brown, we have a saying, they won't be around, and they held up to the old saying. But anyhow, so I grew up in New England and went to state college in upstate New Hampshire. I was a psychology major and loved college. Came back after college and actually went into telemarketing for my first job, selling extended warranties on kitchen appliances. And I was number one in cold calling and selling these extended warranty, believe it or not, in the evenings for a company called Lechmere. If anybody remembers Lechmere.
So are you sympathetic when you're getting those calls? Because I know you're getting those calls still right now, especially for your car, right? Don't they call you for your car?
Oh yeah, we've been trying to contact you about your toaster oven's extended warranty. That's what I did. And so, in any case, so my first job, I went to work for a research organization, and I started as a human resources coordinator, which kind of began my trajectory of my career in HR management. And so I started off as an HR coordinator, got into HRIS systems and recruiting systems. And I will also state I hated benefits. I hated insurance. It was definitely the one thing that I knew I would never, ever, ever, ever do. And then moved on to a contract research organization that actually was in pharmaceutical testing, and was there for a number of years. And, in human resources, you're either a generalist or you're a specialist. You're a generalist and you're a specialist. And it always is like the cyclical cycle. Well, when I was over there, believe it or not, found myself in benefits. And so I was managing kind of self-funded plans and the financial aspects of that, and moved on from there and worked, gosh, I don't even remember what, like after that. So yes, I was there. So I often joke, I heard by that time I was in HR, and I heard Virginia was for lovers. So I came down here, I found myself a husband, and the company I was working for fully relocated me for a newly acquired organization to implement their standard operating procedures, new hire, open enrollments, and all that other stuff in this new location. And so I got married and was working there, and eventually moved on and started just doing some freelance HR work, consulting work with a consulting company. And that consulting company ended up closing down. So I ended up working for one of my clients in government contracting, which is really big in I was living in Northern Virginia at the time. Got married. And at the point where we decided that we thought we might want to start a family, I got into selling lipstick, direct sales. Never got a pink Cadillac, but I did earn 2 cars, a couple of diamond rings.
All right.
And built a sales team of about 50 women. And so I was working full time. I left corporate America after a couple of years and worked my lipstick business for a number of years. And when we were living in Northern Virginia, when the kids were 1 and 3, we decided that we didn't want to bring them up in traffic, and we moved to the Richmond area. And so when my youngest was about to go into kindergarten, hold on, sorry, I can't talk right now. When my youngest was about to go into kindergarten, I realized that the good Lord did not design this woman to be staying home and teaching ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and being home for the 3 o'clock bus. She needed to go back to work in a corporate world, in an office. And so I kind of just fell back on my roots and went into benefit administration. I just wanted to push paper, do enrollments, process paper, and make enough money so I could pay my mortgage and shop at Wegmans. That's all I wanted to do. And so I ended up starting working for a small brokerage. It was just the two of us, and the Affordable Care Act passed. And we realized that as a small brokerage, we needed to align ourselves with a larger agency that might give us more resources to be able to do more things and go after bigger fish, because we really wasn't sure what the future of the group benefits might be. So we went over there, and over the course of the 3 years that I was at this larger and national organization, I learned a ton. And after about 2 years or so, one of my mentors came to me and said, you know, we really want you to sell. And I said, well, I don't want to sell. I want to do it because I enjoy it, but I don't want to do it because I have to. And I was talking with a mentor friend of mine, and I'm always very appreciative of her. And she had asked me, she said, well, in 18 months, if you were to keep on doing the things that you're doing now, what do you see yourself? And I said, well, they'll, you know, give me a 3% raise. They'll increase my health insurance rate by 5%, and I'll constantly go in the hole and 2%. And so she goes, if you go into sales, where do you see yourself? And I said, well, you know, the sky's the limit. If it's to be, it's up to me. And, you know, I'm in control. And she said, well, I think you know what you need to do. You need to go back into sales. And I was like, all right. So I finally acquiesced and said, all right, I'll become a producer, and started producing for that company. And through a series of different management changes, found myself in a position about 9 months later, where they came to me and they said, we're sorry, Karen, but we've lost our confidence in your ability to sell. And I'm like, really? I said, that's interesting. And I said, and they said, well, interesting, why is that? And I said, well, you know, for this past year, I really just feel like God has had me. I'm a Christian, all disclaimer. But I really felt like God had me on the brink of something bigger. And, you know, my God has promised me a life of abundance and not of toxicity, honestly. And I just think that he has something bigger for me, and I don't know what it is. And, you know, I remember the elevator doors closing, and they said, good luck. And I said, no, good luck to you. So in case any of them are listening, I'll hold back on the rest of that story, but feel free to contact me and I'll give you all the ins and the outs of what really happened. So I went home and, you know, just started praying about like, what's next, you know, like, I have no idea. And so where I live, there's a huge reservoir, and I was walking along the reservoir one day, which I now refer to the shores of Galilee. And all of a sudden I just started running these numbers in my head. And I was like, wow, I think, you know, I called my husband and I said, I think God wants me to open up my own brokerage. And I had interviewed with a couple of different brokers and a couple of different organizations. And, you know, I just kind of felt like I was starting at ground zero. And why would I start at ground zero and still be putting money into somebody else's pocket, right? Why would I go and take 30% when I could keep 100% and bonus, right? So I started just kind of crunching some numbers and called up my husband and told him what I thought was going on. And the reason why you see the sunbeams behind my head is because I walked out onto this deck, and I have this little saying called God kisses. And when the sunbeams come through the clouds, or and you just see those beautiful beams coming through, I call them my God kisses. And it's just a wonderful reminder to me that God is in control. And all of a sudden it just hit me like, oh, New Hope Benefits and Consulting. Let's go back and give New Hope back to small businesses that are getting tossed off to the side by these larger agencies. Not to say anything bad about the larger agencies, but you know, smaller businesses just don't get the time and the handholding from larger entities than they might get from a smaller brokerage. And let's just kind of flip the model and do things different. And my husband said, well, can you do that? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, what do you need? And I said, $500 to get a laptop. And he goes, okay, well, here's $500, go get yourself a laptop. And within 24 hours, we had New Hope Benefits approved with the SEC, the Bureau of Insurance. All my lines of authority had been transferred over. It never happens that easily. And just the most wonderful people started coming into my lives to help me and mentor me. if I were to do any shout outs, Deb Stocks, Dottie Allen, Ashley Core, Chris Renkar, Lindsay Waters, just amazing people that just kind of came across my path if I hadn't already known them, and just walked me through and helped me get started. And so now we're here 5 years later. October 1st was our 5-year anniversary, and we're still rocking and rolling. We've got a full-time worksite benefits producer. We've got one coming on. We've got an account manager that just started with us about a month ago, a new account manager. And so, we've really been providing opportunities for people to kind of get their feet wet and learn. We know that they're not going to retire and stay with us forever, although we would love for them to. But I just believe that if you help enough people get what they want, they're going to help you get what you want. And so, continually pay it forward. If it's here for 3 months and I can teach you something to help you and your family be more successful with somebody else, then, I've done my job. And so when I go to heaven and I wake up one morning and I'm facing my Lord and Savior, I hope I can honestly say that I used everything you gave me, and I listened. So, that's what I hope. And so New Hope Benefits is really just kind of based on giving new hope back to small businesses and being able to do things different and give them tools and resources. I always like to say we want to give you big benefits at a small benefit budget. So, so that's kind of what we've done.
No, I love that story. I remember when you shared that with me. I mean, it was like a wow moment. So I can't, wait until, people can hear that, because there's a lot in there. One, you have something that's divinely inspired, connected to, your spiritual walk, but it's also something that says, don't be afraid. Right. A lot of times when you speak, when people say they have faith in something, or faith in themselves, faith in God, they still have worries. But in your story, there was no worry. When you went through that transition, it was like, okay, hey, I know God has a plan. This is a part of the plan. Let's keep going. And you just took everything that came to you after that and utilized that, to build your business. I think that's phenomenal. And just,
thank you.
Like I said, it moves me, just hearing, gets me a little watery, like just listening to you tell.